Papa sangat senang sekali.
I had to watch the last minutes of the episode about 10 times because I was incredibly confused. I cannot understand how a very simple conversation ended the way it did. As always, before we keep going, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's cover 90 Day Fiancé the other way latest episode. James is about to learn how to make banana chips, and he is hoping that Tata's dad is going to see him as a hardworking man and not as a lazy bump. Tata wants to tell her parents right after this lesson, but
I would rather wait until I feel secure here.
James, how long is it going to take you to feel comfortable? Since the gloves fit too small on James, he actually has to do all of this with his bare hands. You know, the hands that were doing all the touchy stuff. Which reminds me of this clip.
These are not spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
So I really hope that his cochino hands are not going to get germs on the banana chips. He races with mom and he gets obliterated by her.
I hate losing. I'm very competitive.
The problem is you're fat and your head is too big.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
When I think of fat, I don't picture James in my mind. I have been wondering what the profit margins are for the banana chip business. So then dad tells us that they sell each bag for 15,000 rupees, which translates to 96 cents. And I don't know if this makes sense, but it makes sense in my head that let's say that it costs them around 60 cents to make each bag. That means that they're only profiting 36 cents for each banana chips bag, not for the set, for one. I think that's important to know for later on.
I have very big concerns about us being able to stay here in Indonesia.
Just now you're seeing that? Dad tells James that he should make more banana chips in the future, and he's like, oh, that leads into the conversation that we need to have. Hey, Tata, do you want to start the conversation with your dad? She finally breaks the news to them, and both of them were incredibly excited. They were super happy.
Tahu-tahu Jim, pulang ke sini.
Memang itu yang saya harapkan dari dulu.
Now it's time for the most important question. Would we have enough money to pay our debt in the States? So James tells them, would it be enough if we sell banana chips to pay for our car that we have back in the States? And mom goes, how much is the debt? And can you guys imagine how much the debt is?
We still owe 15,000.
You are made of stupid.
Right away, mom and dad are like, you know what? We can figure it out. We can find a way out of this. And I thought it was beautiful and just amazing that both of her parents were so nice about the situation. And then Tata translates to James,
To help you guys maybe pay it off.
so James is like, no, I do not want your parents to pay for our debt. I do not want to be a burden to your parents. I would say that you have already become a burden to her parents and to your parents, but at least you're thinking a little bit right now. Dad tells him that they are not a burden, that they are their children and they are their responsibility. So it's not a burden to them to have to pay for it. At the same time, I just wish they would allow them to learn from their own mistakes. Dad also tells him that he does not want him to take any more debts on.
I mean, I would say yes, but sometimes in life you have to take a loan.
I honestly get it. We have all been there, and there's been times where sometimes you can't make it and you have to take out a loan or you have to put extra on the credit cards.
Kalau saya utang bank, berarti saya.
Tata's translating all of these things to James. Well, James is running out of things to say because, you know, they came here to ask Dad, can we get paid to work with you so we can pay our debt in the United States? And that question hasn't even been brought up just yet. So he's telling Tata, can you please step in and carry the conversation? And if you guys remember in the last episode, James had told Tata that he wanted her to carry the conversation because he doesn't speak the same language, he doesn't feel ready. And now that we're here, Tata can't even speak for herself.
What do you say?
And James tells her, I need you to help me here. I need you to take on this conversation. And Tata's like, but I have been helping. I've been translating. And he tells her, but I don't need you to translate. I need you to continue the conversation with your parents.
I'm trying to translate what you say, thinking, translate it to him.
I think what happened here is that Tata did not want to have this conversation with her parents at all. She wanted James to do all the work, knowing that, first of all, he doesn't speak the same language. And second, he had already told you that he did not want to do this.
That's not the reason we're here. We don't want your money. We won't take your money.
We'll see about that, okay? Because I want to see proof at this point. You have been lying a lot. He says that he doesn't understand if Tata is not translating things properly to her parents, and that he really, really hopes that she takes on this conversation because he really wants them to understand that he doesn't want anyone to pay for his debt because he's paying for it himself.
We had this conversation.
Then you push me to talk to.
Emotions are running high for Tata, and she starts asking her parents for forgiveness for being such a burden. When you move out of your parents, the last thing that you want to do is to come back with your head between your legs, asking them for monetary help. So I understand why Tata feels the way that she does, but the least that you can do is speak up now. I really do wonder if Tata is sick or she has a mental illness, because out of nowhere she starts heaving. So her mom goes up to her, and while she's hugging her, she keeps apologizing. And then dad gets up and tells her, you need to kiss your mom's feet and apologize.
Minta maaf.
And I was just so confused because one moment they were having a conversation, the next moment Tata is becoming irrational, then the next second Tata can't stop crying, and then next thing you see, Tata is on her knees kissing her mom's feet, which I understand that is part of their culture. Someone by the username Fiancé_entrance_3AA4 on Reddit actually said that in Indonesia there is a saying that I cannot pronounce, so I'm not gonna try, which means heaven lies beneath your mother's feet. It's supposed to teach children to respect their parents. As soon as Tata says sorry, dad gets up and tells her to kiss her mother's feet to apologize because, you know, that's where heaven is at.
Things have escalated very, very quickly. I have no idea what's happening anymore.
And he's just hoping that whatever is happening right now is not horrible, but how is he supposed to know? Like, if it was me from an outside perspective and I see my partner on the floor kissing their mother's feet, I will be extremely confused. What did you do that it was so bad that you had to get on your knees and kiss your mother's feet? But that is where we left off with James and Tata. Welcome to Ireland, where we meet 30-year-old sexy Sean, who lives in a quiet town and is very attractive. He has gray muscles, tattoos all over him, does not drink, and most importantly,
and I like American Italian MILFs.
Especially their accent.
It's like, talk dirty to be okay, say coffee, what the?
Now let's meet his sexy American Italian MILF, Joan, 48, who lives in Long Island, New York.
Joan loves the way I say coffee, draw, Mira.
She has 2 kids, an 18-year-old and a 12-year-old. She was married for 11 years and eventually they just grew up apart from each other. While she might have a lovely accent, according to Sean, everyone has their weaknesses and she's a terrible cook.
Mom. All right, that's the pan.
Remember the last time you made bacon?
Yeah.
It was the color of that mug.
After her divorce was finalized, she decided to focus on her kids and on her business.
I am a psychic medium, a Reiki healer, and a life coach.
I wonder if she also coaches herself, and if she's a psychic, does she get to see into the future if her decisions are good?
Business was going to lead me to Sean.
He hired her for a reading, but once the time was up, they couldn't stop talking to each other. And after just 3 weeks, she knew that this was the man of her life. She had no idea how, but it was. I can't even talk because I actually got pregnant after 6 months after living with my now husband. Once she arrived to Ireland,
and I felt so at home And then he felt like home.
He has a little girl, so now we have a DILF and a MILF, you know, as the new couple.
First time you guys are gonna meet a man that I'm dating, other than your father. How do you feel about that?
She asked her kids how they feel about them meeting Sean for the first time, and her oldest is not too thrilled about it. He says that he really only cares about him treating her like she deserves to be treated. And then he asked her,
what if me and him don't get along?
And she says that she will be okay with it and will never push them into any situation where they are uncomfortable, since they are the most important people in her life. Joan really hopes that her kids are going to love him, because this is not just a visit for funsies. This is to determine if they would be moving to Ireland with her, because she wants to move in with him.
If they're not okay with it, I have to come up with a plan B, which I haven't, because I'm fully
Dumb. You are really dumb.
However, since she shares custody, it's not as simple as, you know, pick up and go. So her plans are to spend
1 month in Ireland and 2 weeks in New York.
Later on, Sean calls Joanne and she's like, are you ready for us to come over? Did you already book a place for us? And then Sean says that he is nervous about meeting her kids. And then he asks her,
Have you been even wearing your ring or what?
I have been wearing it.
Because it turns out that these two have been married for 2 years and they still have not told her family, not even her kids. So let me get this straight. You have been wearing this ring for the past couple months and haven't told your kids, which you claim are one of the most important people in your life.
Oh, it's gonna be a show.
Maybe you should have told them 2 years ago. Aren't you a life coach? Aren't you a psychic? What will you tell someone that comes to you for advice and tells you that they have been hiding a marriage from their family for 2 years? You have 2 teenagers that have big emotions and you still haven't told them. I'm sorry, but you saying that they are so important makes no sense when you're putting them last.
I have a question. How do we bring this up?
And he goes, I don't know. I'll be in the bathroom while you tell them.
We can just tell them the truth. Say, look, we did it for ourselves.
We just didn't want anyone to intervene, so we just did it. And we're also having a big wedding and we want you all to be there. Oh, and I really hope that they don't get upset at us.
We probably should have told them, I don't know, a year ago.
I really don't understand where they get this couple sometimes. And then Joanne tells Sean that since her mother is not going to Ireland with them, because I guess there's going to be multiple people going, she wants to tell her mom before they leave. And Sean does not seem too excited about that, but that's something that we're gonna get to see in the next episode. Let me know what you guys think about this couple, because so far I like them, but I have my concerns. And now we're moving on to the cloud chasers of this season, and that is Corona and Enki. Because after all the things that have come out lately, that Corona was just doing this for fun, that Enki already knew that she wasn't moving there to be with him, that all of this was technically fake, that they were in a relationship but not to get married. It's just, you know, there's only one definition right now. Corona's laying down in bed and Enki comes out of nowhere with a like mosquito flapper and he just starts slapping her butt over and over again.
Called Bolludagur or Bunday. It's basically like some old Christian holiday, like
where kids get to spank their parents, and depending on how many times they do it, determines how many buns they get. I'm pretty sure that if I told my kids, you can wake me up while spanking me, they will love it. They will be so happy to do it. Corona shares that even though yesterday was horrible,
but last night he turned up the heat a little bit. We got to a simmer.
Beautiful, babe.
So they make their way out of the house to this little pastry shop, and as they're enjoying their buns, Corona shares that she is waiting for her exam results,
which is like a really big deal because that kind of determines if I can work here.
If she doesn't pass, then she has to go back to the States to take the test again.
Ooh, your girl passed.
She also tells him about her stupid decision making and how she left everything behind for him.
I don't know if I can stay in Iceland.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
And it's frustrated at him for not understanding the gravity of the situation. Corona's telling him, now I need to apply here. You know, I got accepted to Penn University and it's so competitive. They only take 10 to 15 people. I have applied so many times in the past and I finally got in.
If I were to talk to myself like 5 years ago, moving to Iceland to be with some freaking white dude, I would punch myself in the face.
And as she's saying all of this, Engi's facial expressions are just like, great, cute, what did I get myself into? And then he says what every rational person would have said in a situation like this one.
Like, you know, worst case scenario, you don't get in here. Like, you could just take this semester off.
And then you can go back to the States and apply again.
Engi's response says that he doesn't understand the magnitude of...
Look, guys, if Engi was head over heels for Corona, he would have probably informed himself as to how important this is to her. But he isn't. So I don't blame him for not knowing. And then she tells him that she has been shielding him from who she really is. And she starts explaining to him that there's times that she wants to bite his head off, like a praying mantis.
The off on you? Praying mantis bite your head off.
Then she tells him, I'm just warning you that things might change from now on and I might act a little different.
Because I consider myself soft partnering.
So don't get mad if I pop off on you. In his confessional, he tells us that
I've always just had the approach of like, you know, just try to be like as honest as I can.
Was going to work, but has now realized that it's not really working.
I'm okay.
Have I scared you with this conversation?
No, not really.
I was just kidding. And now we're moving on to our last couple, Dempsey and Stotler. Dempsey actually decided to go pick up the camper even after Stotler shared with her how she'd rather take the day to relax. Once they arrive, Dempsey is super excited, while Stotler, well...
I'm really excited. I know that we had...
She already told us that she does not want to do this. This is definitely Dempsey's dream, not Stotler's. Dempsey then apologizes for telling her to fuck off, but she just wanted to see some excitement from her partner.
I'm, you know, supposed to immediately learn this van and just become comfortable with it and excited for it, and I'm not.
But once they go inside the van and Stotler starts seeing everything, how the van is actually pretty cute and kind of spacious for two people, her demeanor changes to the point where she's actually excited. It has this super tiny kitchen, the smallest restroom in the world, and a lot of small storage, but it was incredibly tiny. Like, I don't think I could personally live in a place like that, and especially because this is their life now. And they also put the bike inside of the van, and the bike was literally taking all of the space that they had. So I do wonder if the bike is gonna go outside of the camper or if it's going to stay inside of the camper. And for the next episode,
how do you not even tell your mother you're married?
Dempsey and Stotler are going to struggle with the water heater, and then Corona is going to try shark meat. That's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I hope you guys have an incredible day. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you, and see you again next time. Bye. Bye.